Hello everyone, Farah here. So there's a few things in patch 0600 that have just come out that are kind of interest to us from an aircraft carrier's point of view, and I thought it'd be worth sitting down and talking with you guys and kind of revealing my insights and things I've discovered. Specifically today, I want to talk about just one topic. I do have a video coming up for carrier builds, so that's coming next, but the thing I want to talk about today is Evasive Maneuver. Now, Evasive Maneuver is a 1-point skill in the versatility tree. Alright? What does it do? Well, it's essentially a buff. When the strike aircraft, that means your bombers, are returning to your aircraft carrier, they gain a minus 20% to detectability, means they're stealthier. They gain a 75% increase to their health, means they're tankier, and a minus 30% to their airspeed, which means they're slower. So that's the bad thing. The speed is the slow. The return speed is the slow is bad, whereas the health and detectability are good. Now the key wording here is when returning to the carrier. Now what does that mean? Well, the devs, meaning their original intention was probably to allow new players the ability to bomb their target, forget about the return path of their planes, and then the planes would be harder to spot, they'd have more health, and in general they would survive the return flight back to the carrier, mitigating, the issue of plane loss and having low plane capacity on lower tier carriers. But what can it really do, right? Well, let's talk about higher tier carriers and higher capacities. What can evasive maneuvers do for you, okay? Well, we can abuse it pretty badly, because the returning plane to the carrier can be turned on and off at will. So you can fly out, hit return, have the benefits of evasive maneuvers, then tell it to fly somewhere else, and the evasive maneuver benefit is removed. So you can, on demand, increase the health, increase the detectability, and then reduce the speed, and then you can also turn that stuff off. Which is kind of interesting. It means 4 things. First thing, you can scout with bombers. Usually it's with Japanese IGN bombers are the ones that scout, because you got more waves and you got more freedom to do that as opposed to the Americans. And you don't necessarily need to drop your bomb load. You can drop if you want for additional speed, and then not return to the carrier and keep your maximum speed. The increase in speed outruns enemy fighters. If you're cornered or have a lapse of concentration and your bombers get tagged either with their payload or without, that's kind of irrelevant, and they get tagged, you simply hit the return key, which by default is F, and they instantly get a 75% increase to health, allowing the bombers to drain the fighter's ammo, or if it's an American bomber, possibly kill off the fighter wave, especially if you've got elite rear gunners and the signal flags and that type of thing. So it's quite strong to get a health bonus if you're tagged and not barraged. The second thing that's very interesting about evasive maneuvers is that when you're en route to bombing a target, and maybe this is maybe more of a Strike Lexington thing and you don't have fighters to protect them, if you're going to get strafed and there's nothing you can do about it, you know you're going to get strafed, it's going to happen no matter what, you can't juke it, you can't duck it, that type of thing, which sometimes happens, instantly hit F for the return order, instant 75% health increase. Some of the planes might survive. Rather than losing the whole wave, maybe 1 plane lives, maybe 2 planes live, or something like that. Maybe you can try and juke and press F or something like that. But the fact is, it's an instant health increase. It can help against bigger, tankier planes like American ones if you hit the return key. Now we get to the really dirty stuff, okay? Number 3, if you want to exploit the detectability, this involves the positioning, the manipulating of the carrier position and the bombers. So let's say you have a target in mind that you want to sink. Fly the planes. Okay, so you need to find a target between your bombers and your carrier. So it may require you to move your ship or to fly your bombers at a safe distance around an intended, let's say, heavy anti-air target. When the target is between your ship and your planes, you hit the return key, by default F, to return your bombers to your carrier. And this way the flight path will take your planes over the intended bomb target. The evasive maneuver triggers, which makes them less detectable to the enemy ship. So if they see them about 6-7 kilometers, now they're only going to see the bombers at 5 kilometers. So this instantly means they're taking less damage on the flight time by a whole variety of things in the area. They're not seen, he's got less time to react, less time to do defensive fire, that type of stuff. And then as soon as your planes are spotted by the enemy ship, the slower fire high caliber AA guns will open fire while your bombers have plus 75% HP, which means there's less likely of a chance to lose a plane, and because you're detected, much closer in, there's less time for him to react and have more damage, and for it to, to recharge, that's reload, because the big AA guns have around 5 to 6 seconds of reload time. So as soon as that first RNG shot happens, and your bombers are taking AA damage, then you immediately click out of the evasive maneuvers, so it's no longer returning to your carrier. You then bomb your target with the faster speed, reduced plane health, so he hasn't got time to react. And then once you've done that, you come to step number 4. You've got 2 choices. One, you can either allow your planes to return to your carrier under the effects of evasive maneuvers for increased health, but of course at a reduced speed, or alternatively, or I should say, rather than having the bombers fly back to your carrier to reload under the effects of evasive maneuvers, just tell your planes to fly next to your carrier, and that way they fly back at the standard maximum speed of a bomber that's dropped its payload. And then once the planes are flown back to your carrier, or you can just tell them to fly back to your carrier, then shift-click F, so you're chaining up the orders, the planes gain the EM, evasive maneuver effect, the slow-moving effect, but they're right next to your carrier, it doesn't matter when they land. So you're mitigating the effects of the reduced speed. So you bombed your target, then you fly back as fast as you normally would, and then you land. So that's 4 really powerful things that you can do with evasive maneuvers for a 1-point captain skill, outside of perhaps the intended intentions of the devs. That's what I wanted to share today. I've experimented with Mishikaku in training room and a co-op room, and it works exactly as I thought it would. You can turn the evasive maneuvers on and off, and as a result, you can really heavily abuse the skill, and if you put the effort in, you can gain massive benefits against enemy ships. Alright, that's everything. My name's Fire from Omni, and I'll see you guys in the next video.